understand and get that your night, your day is going to get better, honey. Once you say, hey, your night, your day is going to get better once your perception gets better. So, you guys know when I get a download for me to come live, okay, I listen to my intuition. And at first, I was uploading another Dollar Tree haul, and then I had got, a few times go live, okay? And so here I am. So, are you listening to your intuition? Okay. You guys hear me talk about intuition a lot, right? And it's so funny because some people say, well, God isn't answering my prayers. God isn't, talking back to me. No, God is speaking, my love, but you're not listening. And the reason perhaps you're not listening is because you want to hear something different. Almost like that relationship that you got into, and that relationship is not the relationship that you, I don't want to say you deserve, because the reason why you in that relationship is because a part of you feel like you deserve to be in that relationship. But God is speaking to you. You just not listening to what God is saying. Okay. And for a few reasons. Because one, you may not want to get out of your comfort zone. Okay. Two, you may be a person that's blaming everything and everyone for what's going on in your life. See, it's easier to pinpoint and say, things in my life is going this way because, right? Things in my life is going this way because of the government, because of whomever. As long as you say that, guess what? Things gonna pretty much stay the same exact way. And you're right. You're right. And I always say, whatever you say, whatever is your belief about whatever it is showing up in your life, you right. You are absolutely right. See, there's some people in life that will say, you know what? That I don't deserve that. Right. And there's others that will say that they absolutely do deserve it. And each of them right. Okay. The person who say they don't deserve it, they right. What happened?
Oh, just to make sure, you said all the pants in the refrigerator?
Well, not the rice. And not that, yeah. And not the gravy. Not the gravy thing. You did that already? That's okay.
No, I'm not. I thought you was gonna say the vegetable.
Oh yeah, the vegetables. You did all of them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you though. Wow. Close my door.
Even the gravy one? The gravy thingy?
Well, yeah, you could wash that one.
Wait, what about the gravy? Because it don't have that.
Yeah, you could take that out too. Thank you.
I'm just gonna wash everything except for the rice.
All right. If you need to get another bag, just get another bag, but they have to go out. So the person that says they was showing up in a life, right? And they say, well, this is what's going on in my life, and this is what's going on in my life. And where my earrings up, okay, up. They up, honey. Okay. Let me tell you guys something, okay? I'm not gonna show up on here all the time dolled up because I'm comfortable. I'm very much so comfortable on my skin. Okay. There's some days you may catch me glamored out. And then there's some days where as though you may be like, oh my goodness, okay? But I am comfortable. And so one of the things that you have to understand about life is this. When you are comfortable in your skin, okay, when you don't need the stuff, because those things do not make you. And I want you to understand it. Those things, those materials, see, I've been through this, okay? Those materialized things do not make you. They do not make me. If I feel like putting them on, I just don't feel like putting them on. That's just what it is. Okay. So getting back to it. So the person that says that life is against them, they are right. The person that says that life is working in their favor, they are right as well. Right. It's all according to what you tell yourself. Whatever you tell yourself, that's what shall be. Okay. I'm thinking of something. Oh gosh. I had heard something. Um, where is though, and it's so funny because people have a really strong conviction of what has shown up in their life, and they really believe that that's that's what God want for them. Like they really believe like God want them to suffer. How many times that you was growing up, have you heard, well, this what God want me to do? If God didn't want me to suffer, I wouldn't be going through this. And suffering is not something that God is doing. Pain is inevitable, meaning all of us are going to experience pain, right? And pain isn't there to stop you or to break you. Pain is just what it is, okay? You ain't offend me. Pain is just what it is. We all experience pain, okay? But suffering is completely different, right? Suffering is basically, prime example, you have somebody in your life, and I always give this example. Hey, Tracy, PCF, baby, PCF, PCF. I ain't even see you creep on up in here, Tracy. So, say for instance, you have somebody in your life and they talk to you crazy, right? They talk to you crazy. They tell you all types of stuff, right? And it can be a family member. And you like, well, if God, and maybe you be crying after they get finished talking to you and belittling you and saying whatever it is that they saying to you, right? You be crying, your emotions be all over, okay? Because somewhere within you, you feel like you gotta accept it. Somewhere within you, you feel like you have to tolerate it. Why you feel that way? Because, honey, you've been conditioned to feel that way. You've been conditioned, and it's so funny because sometimes we can often see this like with the helicopter parent, right? I used to be the helicopter mother, okay? And sometimes you can feel like, although, and you'll see it in movies, right? You like, why won't the child just leave? She's an adult, right? Or he's an adult, he can just leave. But it's just something over the control, like over you've been conditioned to believe that, oh, if you go against it, right? If you go against what somebody say, you're not going to have any good luck. And so you get caught up in this whole luck thing, thinking that, well, and it is attached to your belief system too. It's attached to your ideology of what you've been given based upon your definition. Huh? I gotta see. Let me see it. Let me see it. One second, family. Mm-mm. It's been an hour. Well, damn, Deena. Wow. I don't remember it. Damn it. That phone is like from 2000 and I think 22. Like when I was using it, or 2020. Oh. Yeah, it's one of those. I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can turn it off. Oh, okay. I'm doing a live. Okay. So, right. So you have this ideology. You have this thing, right? That God, and it's been given to you, right? About God. Well, I can't say anything because if I say something, I'm not gonna have any good luck, right? And you don't understand that you are actually blocking your throat chakra, right? You look at it like, well, say for instance, is your mama or your daddy, or maybe it can be your aunts or uncle, whomever, right? But you grew up. I remember when I was growing up, I always felt like the adults, they could do no wrong, right? Whatever they did, I felt like it was such a hierarchy where as though everything that they did, nobody would recommend them. Like that's how I felt as a kid. I felt that whatever action it was, the way they may talk to a child, whatever it is, I felt like there was no reprimanding for them. I felt like if you're an adult, you'll pretty much get away with, the way you speak to people, the way you treat people, that's what I felt as a kid, right? And I never forget, I had this passenger one day, and I was doing Uber, and me and him started talking. I never seen this guy from a milk carton, okay? But one of the things that I absolutely loved about Uber and Lyft was the people that I met. And also, oftentimes in life, we think that people are different from us. And all of that is an illusion. Okay. We are all connected. And the stories were pretty much the same. Our stories, we had something in common with each person that got into my vehicle. We all had something in common. Okay. Whether they was I met one guy who was a lawyer and stuff like that, and he was something else, accountant and stuff. He was okay, but we all had something in common. And one of the things you have to understand and get is, as long as you are allowing, right? And I emphasize the word allowing. As long as you are allowing people to talk to you any old type of way, because you say, well, this my family, I have to allow them to, speak to me this type of way because you've been conditioned. If you don't, you're not going to have no good luck. Isn't it crazy? It's so crazy because if God says that you ought to love yourself, and you see the way people talking to you, if it don't make you feel good about yourself, then isn't that going against what God has said, that love thy God, or love thy neighbor? Just, you supposed to love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's why I always say, if somebody don't love themselves, or if somebody don't accept themselves, that's something that they have going on within themselves. That's how they view themselves. That's their self image, that they self perception. And you can't ask somebody to do something that they're not willing to do for themselves. So if this person isn't willing to respect themselves, why are you still going around thinking that they're gonna respect you? In the book, The Game of Life by Florence Shen, and I always recommend that book because it says, is the Old Testament, is part of the Bible. And it says in here from Florence Shen, it says, life is a game. And some people think that life is a battle, but it really isn't a battle. It's really a game. And you have to know the rules to the game. And it says, whatever you put out, whatever you send out through word, okay, or imagination, that's what you shall get back. Those emotions that you sending out and you keep on dwelling on, right? That's exactly what you're going to keep on receiving. It's some people that's so attached to whatever it is that they got going on in their lives, whether it's sickness or mental health, whatever, they so attached to it. And when somebody come along and say, no, you're fine, they sometimes they really, really be ready to square up with you. Okay. Okay, I mean, I ain't had that half, okay. People come around me, they full of love, okay. Put that out there, all right. But some people they so attached to things that has shown up in their lives that when you come and tell them, no, your life is good, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that because they don't understand that it's all based upon the mind. They don't understand. They think that everything that's showing up is reality. It's so funny. I was listening to Abraham Hicks the other day, right? And as I was walking, I was coming from doing a Dollar Tree haul. And one of the things that Abraham Hicks was talking about is how people are so attached to their reality. Reality is an illusion. It is not real. And no matter how many times I say that, reality is based upon perception. Your perception. That's why we all can see the same exact thing. And some people perception can be, oh my goodness, that's really good. And other people perception can be, oh my goodness, this is just outright horrible. Is all according to their perception of things. And one of the things that you have to understand about the universe that there's no good or bad. Life is just what it is. It is just so. There's no good or bad. It's just so. Okay, it's ever, but there's no good or bad. And some people even have a hard time with that. When you say stuff like that, they think that you from another somewhere else. Okay. They really do. People, it really amazing. I've told you guys this story before, but let me say it again. I'm on TikTok and it was this guy. And I always post the same thing that I post on here. I post pretty much on every platform. So if you think I'm loony on here, chances are you're going to think I'm loony other platforms as well. And I really just don't care. Okay, that's you. You have to see what you doing if it's working for you. If it's not, then that's a sign that maybe you need to go the other way. Maybe you need to do something different. Okay. And isn't it funny, the ones that are called loony and all this other stuff, crazy and stuff like that, they are the geniuses. Okay. So I remember I was on TikTok and same exact concept, same exact video, whatever it is, reality is an illusion, same exact concept. And this guy, he was watching, because you go see on TikTok who pretty much watches your story or whatever. Nowadays, I just don't have the time to watch and scroll. But anyway, so at this time, I seen, this one guy, I seen that he would, watch my videos, right? And then he never comment on the videos, never. But then I seen, one day he said, you are really, you are really living in another world. He said, you don't see all this stuff that's going on, all the crime, all the corruption, or all of this, I choose not to give my attention to that. I'm not saying that it's not occurring, okay? I'm not saying that I don't hear stuff, but I choose not to indulge in that stuff. Why? Because I don't want that stuff to be my reality. Although reality is an illusion, but I don't want that to be my reality. It's funny also, it was this one girl and this is why I say it's so important for you to study. So it was this one girl who I was friends with on Facebook. Okay. And me and her went to school together. We went to grammar school. I went to Catholic school in grammar school and elementary school. Because I know some of you guys like, what? Grammar? Yeah, elementary school. Okay. It was this girl I went to school with. And I remember one day, and this was recently, probably a few weeks ago, about a month ago, probably. And she said, the stuff about what's going on with that there's going to be another something's going to be worse than a Great Depression, right? That is going to get really, really ugly. That may be very well true. I'm not saying that it's not. But I don't, that's not my reality. That's not my reality. And let me remind you of something, okay? Because when we hear things, I want you to understand that you have the ability to accept it or reject it. I remember my mentor, Bob Proctor, when he said that, and even Zig Ziglar, okay, said that there were more millionaires created in the Great Depression. So when you hear certain things, you don't have to accept those things unless if that's what you want to occur to your life. If you want that to be for you, then that's exactly what you shall receive. Whatever you accept, remember the subconscious mind, it does not know fantasy from reality. So when you get that letter in the mail, you can say, oh, this is paid, right? And perhaps the money is not even in your account to pay it. But if you have a strong conviction that this is paid, I know this is going to be paid. And the reason I say that because it happened many times in my life. Many times in my life. Okay. I said, oh, this is paid. And the funds, they just come up. Now, somebody on the outside, they could look at this and be like, oh my goodness, that is not true. You know why? Because they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe. That's exactly why their life stays the same exact way. Because I can almost assure you that they walk by sight, not by faith. And so I remember also one day my sister called me. She called me and she said, "Oh my goodness, you heard what they doing? What Trump doing about the child support? You know, if the father is on child support, then that means that the child's father could claim the children for taxes." And I said, I don't care about that. I don't. Now, before, I used to feel a certain type of way when my youngest children's father would claim them. But nowadays, I just say, oh, well, you know, if he claimed them, he claimed them. He beat me to the punch. He fouled first. Oh, well, that's, you know, I don't look at things like that no more. And the reason being is because I understand that whatever it is that I desire, I can have it. And one of the things that I say is, dang, you know, working hard. I am so grateful and thankful, to say the least. Like I am, you just don't understand. To the people that's out there that's really doing the thing that they absolutely love doing, oh my goodness, you know the feeling, okay? To wake up and do the thing that you absolutely love doing. I mean, it is, and I think sometimes I even look at that and sometimes I can, you know, take that for granted because it's like, well, I should be there. I should be there. And, you know, no, I should be exactly where I am. Now that does not mean I'm saying like, oh, well, I can't do better and stuff like that. But what it means is, you know, you don't complain about being in the sixth grade, right? You don't complain about you currently in the sixth grade. Just say you currently in the sixth grade. You don't complain and say, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to be like, if you keep complaining about where you currently are right now, you would never be able to get to where you desire to be. Let me say that again. If each and every day you complain about where you currently are right now, you will never get to where you desire to be. And you know exactly where you are, like energetically, right? Because if you're not complaining, right? Then chances are you are looking for ways to improve whatever it is that you may be doing. You are having fun. Life is really good. When you complaining about where you are, that's because the thoughts that you got going on in your mind, okay, is in a place of scarcity, is in a place of well, I supposed to be way further ahead. No, you're supposed to be exactly where you are. Because if you were supposed to be further ahead, believe me, you would be further ahead. It's not so much. All right, so some of you guys know, right? We almost to 10K, right? And the 10K, and I'm so grateful for you guys, showing up, watching my videos. Believe me and my family, my children, we really, really appreciate you guys for showing up. Whether you sharing a video, whether you hearting a video up, liking a video, commenting on a video, I so appreciate each and every one of you guys. But that 10K is going to feel like when I hit 5K. All of it is the same exact is the same exact thing. I remember it was this guy that my oldest son used to watch. I think his name was Matthew Santoro. I think that's his name. Um I think that's his name. And he used to do like 20 scary stories or something. He would do like category like 20 different things, right? That would be his theme or whatever. And I remember, I wonder if he's still around. He was a YouTuber. I don't know if he's still around. But anyway, I remember when he was saying like when he had hit, I think it was 1 million subs. Yeah.
Oh, you said
I remember when he had hit 1 million subs, and one of the things he had said was, he said it felt the same as it, like, you think, and also Aaron Dowdy. Shout out to Aaron Dowdy. I absolutely love me some Aaron Dowdy. But one of the things Aaron Dowdy said too, he said, when he had hit, I think it was 100,000 subs. He said when he went to the gym, he thought he was gonna have this you whatever the word is, but he thought he was gonna have this feeling where as though everything was gonna be different. People in the gym all was gonna know. Everybody in the gym was gonna know him. It was the same exact way. Okay. And it's really the journey, and I'm saying it because earlier today when I was getting in the shower, I just got this feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna miss this, right? But you can enjoy it. You can enjoy it now instead of you feeling like you're gonna miss this. Because I said, me getting up to do the Dollar Tree whores, all of those things that we tend to go through, and we think like, oh my goodness, this is like so bad. I'm going through this. No, it is so good because all that stuff that you're going through, it is setting you up for your success. It is setting you up for your best moments. It's setting you up to win. Don't look at what you going through and think that, oh my goodness, I'm going through this mess. No, it is all for the betterment of you. It is all for the good. I know, friend. I know. You may be looking at this video like you just don't understand what I'm going through. I'm picking this up from somebody on here. And you're right. I don't know what you're going through. But I know what you're going through. It is not here to break you. I know that it's not bigger than you unless you tell yourself that. I don't care. I don't care what this person is. I don't care what type of position that you get this person in your mind. Like, oh, this person has so much authority and all this other stuff. I know that they're not bigger than God. I challenge you to be still for whatever it is that you got going on in your life. I challenge you to be still and surrender. I challenge you to go within and say, I need the answers to this. And be still. Turn the TV off. Be in a room by yourself. You know, the best times when I get those downloads where as though I don't know what to do. Let me tell you, I remember I know I shared this with you guys before, but I haven't shared this story in a minute. I remember I was off of YouTube, right, for a minute. I started a channel back in 2018, and then I left after I uploaded a few videos, and then I came back to YouTube. I think it was like 2020. I had came back, right? And I remember 2020 I came back, and then after I had came, oh shit. So my phone had my phone had died. So do understand and get that whatever has shown up, it is not bigger than you. Okay. And God is within you. God is working through you. But you can always tell the people who feels like God or that thing is bigger than God are the ones that don't show up. The ones that don't it is that they have been whatever it is that they have been created to do. Okay. They get a download. The download is telling them to do X, Y, and Z. And they feel like, you know what, they don't want to do it because they actually feel and believe that that thing is bigger than them. And that's the crazy part. That's the crazy part because how could you believe and say you believe in God and you think that that thing is bigger than God when God created the world? Like that there's I don't get that. I don't understand that part. You know? Um this puts me in a mind of when I had went to court, and when I went to court, only thing I kept saying was that God got me. And it's so funny because you see synchronicities all over. I remember I went to Michael's Crafts, and it said something like it had like the word the acronym for God, and it was like G stands for such and such, O stands for such. And people on here actually do it that I would take time out to put this stuff together because they just don't believe. They just don't believe. They don't know. Okay, a belief can be altered or changed, but when you know who child, something completely different. But they thought that I put that together. Okay, listen. When you know that God got your back, guess what? You're gonna show up. When you know God wants you to have better, that God created you for greatness, guess what? You're going to show up. If you don't show up, then that means that there's something in you that you don't believe. Because if you don't show up, that's a form that you don't believe. It's so many people, people will say, oh, they want a job. They want a better job. But guess what? They'll stay at their old job. They won't go to another job. You know why? Because somewhere in them they believe they deserve that job that they have right now. That's their self-image. That's their identity. They believe that's the best that they can do. And when you believe that's the best that you can do, guess what? You're gonna settle. You should be always looking to improve. Always looking to improve. That's why I study every day. I study every day. I tell you guys this all the time. I study every day. How can I improve? And before the social media thing, before I came on doing social media, that was the part. I wanted to see how could I better myself? How could I improve? What can I do? What could I do to improve myself as a parent, as a friend? Okay. What can I do to improve? And every part of my journey, the books that I have is all reflections of my journey, the area that I was working on in my life. When it was pertaining to me and my children, I have this real thick book that talks about parenting. Going through relationships, I have a book that talks about mastery of love. Talk about self-image, how to raise my confidence, my self-esteem, the magic of thinking big. Okay, that book I highly recommend. I haven't read that in a minute though, but really a really good book. Another one is Psycho Cybernetics. I always talk about that book. Also, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph by oh gosh by Dr. Murphy, Dr. Joseph Murphy. Okay, so every part of my life, whereas though I see, Deena, you need to improve this. The books they are reflectors of me working to improve the areas of my life that I need to improve. And it's not to judge yourself or beat yourself up, but to say, you know what, I deserve better. I deserve better. And when you see that you deserve better, it's people that you see and you don't feel sorry for them. I remember I used to feel sorry for people, but I don't feel sorry for people because I know that God is working through them if they will allow God to do what God needs to do. But many times they not allowing God because of the whole they whole mindset. Ignorance. That's really what it is. And all of us are ignorant in some form, okay? But when it comes down to everything, it's really ignorance. So, with that being said, I love you guys. Keep rocking out, believing in yourself. Keep going, keep growing. Until next time. Peace.